Minnesota's a good place, and I love Minnesota. My point is that if we can utilize those things that already exist and are utilized by other states in the state of Minnesota, we can build quite a manufacturing and a high-tech structure here in Minnesota. The jobs we could create is huge. From that contract alone, we were looking at how many people we're going to have. On a daily basis, we're getting opportunities from various countries. Actually, today, from another contract from Taiwan and so forth. But the structure here is not conducive to us building and getting support we need in order to provide those jobs. We have to do some manufacturing in Taiwan that we could do here in North Minneapolis. I subcontract to Boeing in California on effort we could do right here in North Minneapolis. And we spend out a lot of money over to those places that we could spend right here in North Minneapolis. But we can't, we don't have the infrastructure in order to do it. And so I don't like sending money all across the world. My wife don't like it either. So, all right, a couple of things. Access to capital for large U.S. and foreign contracts, commercial and government. Expansion for capital equipment and inventory. Even for export. Right now, we backlog with export contracts and trying to find the funding so we could produce to deliver. Another area that I wanted to mention, in addition to what Ms. Hargis did, was in support of effective college and industry funding and support and partnerships. Colleges need to be more competitive to those out of state. We work with University of Minnesota. We pay a lot of money to the University of Minnesota. But we could do it even better. They need money, we need funds. There's a fund that can help out with that. Then that help the students to learn. Students need to be more prepared for industry and industry transition. High school students need to be prepared and understanding the need for college. They can see the outcome, they'll be have more motivation to go. I can go more and more on that. Minnesota needs to win more cooperative, high-tech government contracts. There are arrangements where if you submit a contract or you get supporting funds from the state, then you have a higher probability of winning. Other states do that. In fact, other countries do that, even Japan and so forth. And so if we utilize those types of techniques, we could actually create more jobs and more revenue and even more exporting out to other countries just from the state of Minnesota, even from Minneapolis. Of course, the high cost of intellectual property. That's another issue. But we can talk about even more. But because we have to protect our intellectual property, especially as a small company. We have paper attorneys to try to cover for other companies trying to take our technology. And so these things are not hard things to do, but the payoff is huge. So I want to thank you very much for this time. Thank you.
Come on, we can do better than that for Dr. Listen, I have to go. The next person, certainly last, but certainly not least, I'm calling for Mr. Lewis King, who's going to talk a little bit about training and workforce development. Great transition, I think, here. And right after Mr. King is we're going to then field questions or ideas from the audience, and we're going to have to shrink the time down. And remember, you're going to be given 1 minute. 1 minute on topic. I heard somebody say 30 seconds. 1 minute on topic, that's it. We will time you, so don't think we're being disrespectful or rude when we do that. We just want to get as many people an opportunity as possible, okay? Here we go, Mr. Lewis King. Let's give him a hand.
Before I begin, I do want to recognize a hero in the room. About 20 years ago, I knew a young lieutenant by the name of Tracy Williams. Stand up, Tracy. who's now Lieutenant Colonel. A letter of reference, and I ended up as a major, so sir, it's good to see you. Right. For those of you who know me, I began all my gigs the same way. Please repeat after me. The best social service program is a job. You're going to say it again. The best social service program is a job. My man. He and I have done this together before in private setting. You've heard the presentations. I don't really have much to add, but for those of you who know me, you know I believe in three things: fire, maneuver, and speed. So I'm bringing that to you today. And at the end of the deal, the only question on the table is, are you with us? That's the only question. There's nothing to debate. You've seen the facts. There is action. And now with the new cabinet and the new government, we encourage them to join our efforts. Let's revisit the headlines. Prior to the downturn, what a lot of people don't know is that the African American unemployment rate was around 14%, while the white rate was 3.5%. So the fact that we have a disparity, where's the news in that? It's always been there. This, though, has captured our attention most recently. Now, in the current numbers, when this report came out, there are about 50,000 African Americans in Minneapolis. So follow the math. If all of them were capable of working and you have 20% unemployment, that means about 10,000 people. The economists say that we will return to normal in 4 to 5 years, so we'll get back down to the 14%, okay? You with me there? So that's about 7,000 people. Nature will do that. What is required of this administration and this community is to accelerate the process by, over the next 4 years, focusing on 3,500 new jobs, which will reduce that by 50%. And there is a quantitative goal on the table and a challenge for us to pursue. We've seen the evidence today. Now, why is this necessary? This isn't just about doing something for the black community. I saw a presentation out of California, and they said anytime you help extreme ends of a population, everybody benefits. Give you an example. The curb cuts that were put there for people with disabilities. Women with strollers, parents with strollers love those curb cuts. Runners love them. People on bicycles love them. Little boys with lawnmowers push them, love them. So anytime you help an extreme end of the population, the greater population benefits. White Minnesota, stand by. In the next decade, more people will turn 65 than have in the previous 4 decades combined. I'll say that again. More people will turn 65 in the next decade than in the previous 4 decades combined. So Swanson, Swenson, and Johnson, who always had a lot of children who could take the jobs and have their social network and fill them, will begin to dwindle. The next fact that the demographer puts on the table that we must examine is that by the year 2035, 1 in 4 Minnesotans will be a person of color. When I got here in 89%, when I got here in 1989, it was 3%. Okay? In Ramsey County, it will be 48.8%. In the Twin Cities wide, 30%. So what are the implications here? The implications are that the demographic shift will continue the work of the civil rights movement. That nature will take its course. But we have a responsibility to do certain systematic things, certain systemic things to move this along. By the way, as people age out, guess what? The fiscal crisis of the day is nothing. It's a ripple. Here comes a tsunami. When all those people age out, they no longer pay payroll taxes. They're not earning. Also, their spending goes down, so their sales taxes go down. The big 4,800 square foot houses with the 5 levels and the 3 staircases, their knees won't take it. So they get little small houses. And so the property taxes go down. So what's the trend? Fiscal taxes are going to go down and down and down and down and down. Now what does that mean to black folk? All right, as my professor at Morehouse used to say, you had me talking about Miami, Ohio. All right.